And we're back. We are live. Wasn't that an awesome fight last night? I thought so. My watch page popped on. All right, we got my homie Q and Fee in the house. What's up, homie? Brandon C says you called it, bro. Well, I did pretty much, predict that one just about perfectly. You'd be hard pressed to find another guy on the internet who put himself on camera and made as good of a prediction as I did. Now, there were people who predicted Jake Paul would win. That's not as hard of a prediction. Getting the decision part right, putting yourself on camera beforehand, not nearly as many people accomplished that feat. So after it's all said and done, everyone acts like they knew all along what was going to happen. But then there's those of us who put themselves on camera and said what was going to happen, and then it happened. To my knowledge, I'm the only one on the internet who said Rocky Balboa script. Nobody on the internet had that thought. Pretty sure I'm the only one. All right. Oh, look, we got the biggest fanboy in Detroit, you guys. Look, it's the Detroit Lions guy who talks in all caps, and he always says Detroit Lions devastate, baby. I actually banned him at one point because he pissed me off, but then I unbanned him because I know he's a fanboy and he just wants his Lions to win at least just one pretend Super Bowl. And he knows that the games are pretend, but he still is a gigantic fanboy who does stuff like this. And I've even called him out like, bro, around here, we laugh at guys like you. He's like, I don't care. I love my Lions and nothing will stop me from loving my Lions. So this guy, an unwavering fanboy, even though he knows it's fake. Gotta give it to him. Dude, for you, I hope you get your pretend trophy so that you can celebrate how you sat and watched TV. I do, bro. I hope that your team wins a pretend championship so that you can tell your grandkids, 50 years from now or whatever, that you sat and watched television and you watched them pretend win you a pretend trophy. All right. And the fact that I've given you shit and you're still standing and you haven't snapped on me and been like, I'm unsubscribing, screw you, clown. I like you, dude. I actually respect you for being a diehard fanboy, even though you know it's fake. And because you're a Lions fan and they've never won a Super Bowl, and this is the best they've ever looked, I'm excited for you. Here's the problem. If they go to the Super Bowl against a team like Buffalo, you might have a huge problem because then the money's going to be on your team. You better hope they don't play Buffalo in the Super Bowl. You better pray they don't. If it's Kansas City, you got a shot, buddy. If it's Detroit, Kansas City, you got a real shot. If it's Detroit, Buffalo, people are going to bet Detroit, and Josh Allen might just become a hero in Buffalo for the rest of his life. Just saying. It all depends on who they would go to the Super Bowl against. But they might not even make it. They might rip your fanboy heart out. But we're here to talk about the scripted fight. So here I am going off on this dude. OJ and Toothpaste says that fight was garbage. Sup, Jake, and all the subs. Yes, hello to all my subs. Hello to Rose and Emily, OJ and Toothpaste, any of the subs here who I haven't said hello to. Oh, before the stream started, I got a super chat from Dreadfully Awful. That's the name of the channel. And he sent a super chat and said, you the man. So thank you, Dreadfully Awful. for the pre-stream super chat. All right. Thank you, OJ. Right. Now, I know some of you guys did not watch that terrible shit. And so, lucky for you, I can talk about what happened and make it entertaining for everyone. And then all the guys here who did see it, who want to talk about how trash it was. You know, like some people are saying it's the worst fight they've ever seen. So if that's your take, you know, you can put it in the comment section here and I'll pull it up on screen and read your take. And we can all just bash on that terrible joke of a fight. Here's the thing. I'm not shocked because I'm the guy who pretty much told you it was going to be scripted trash. So when it turned out to be scripted trash, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, did you see that? I can't believe that. It's like, no, that totally is what I expected. That's kind of why I predicted it and got it basically perfect, because that's what I expected. All right. Q says, I watched it on YouTube 2 hours ago. Garbage sheeple entertainment. Even the sheeple didn't like it. There's sheeple across the world who are saying that was a fake fight. They're too stupid to realize like all the NFL games and the NBA games are also fake, and that all the other fights are going to be rigged and fake in one way or another. And so a lot of stupid people are even saying that fight looked fake and that Tyson didn't try his hardest or that Jake Paul didn't try his hardest. I've heard both sides. Tyson didn't try his hardest. Jake Paul didn't try and knock him out. Yeah, it was supposed to go to the distance, just like I thought it would. I was like, are they really going to have old man Tyson get knocked out? Like, I think it makes more sense for him just to go 16 minutes. Guys got to remember, 2-minute rounds, 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds. That's only 16 minutes. And if both guys have agreed, they're not going to try and take each other's heads off. Well, then you know that you're going to go the distance, right? So when you know you and your opponent are going the distance, right? You just got to fill the time and make it look believable enough. And I would say they failed at that. They didn't make it look believable enough. They should have had Tyson win the first like 3 rounds even, or 3 out of the first 4, and have him come forward a little more and then tire out towards the end. They could have made it a little more believable. But in my opinion, you know, that's where the least amount of money probably was, is Paul by decision. All right. So let me go read some of these comments here. Spooky says, thank you, Jake, for being here to keep us all laughing at this phony and fake scripted reality show. Oh, you're welcome. And I hope a few of you made a few dollar bills on my prediction. That should make up for my terrible football season. That should make up for my blunder in the Super Bowl last year. So if you made money on my pick, you're welcome. Oh, and people begging me to come back and make football picks, can't do it. I can't. If I come back and make football picks, I will inevitably have a bad week, lose money, and then be sitting here in this office pissed off. And I can't do it. I can't allow myself to be angry and pissed. It happened last year during the season too many times. And then at the beginning of this year, it happened again. And I don't want to be angry and unhappy and losing football games and losing money and being wrong and having motherfuckers troll me. Not having it. So since I have stopped making NFL picks, I'm happy with not being wrong. I'm happy with all them degenerate sports losers not trolling me anymore. They left. So yeah, I'm happier not making the NFL picks. So the fact that I made this fight pick, you know, it was kind of a one-time deal. Like, I knew that all the money was on Tyson. I just knew it. And so I was pretty damn confident I was going to come through for you and that I wasn't going to look stupid. So when it comes to the NFL, it's way harder because they have more games. So let's say if there's 16 games, some of them they're going to pay the public, some of them they're going to rip off the public, and trying to figure out which one they're going to do what is way harder. Whereas this was just one bout, and I knew that Vegas couldn't afford to let Tyson win that. I was about 90% sure that Vegas would lose money if they let Tyson win that in any way, shape, or form. So I felt like it was a guaranteed victory, almost guaranteed, I should say. So I felt comfortable giving you that pick. But just because I came back and gave you that doesn't mean I'm going to spend my entire Sunday capping, or not my entire Sunday, spend my entire Friday or Saturday capping NFL games and then spend my entire Sunday watching and betting and losing. I can't do it. All right. I got a super chat coming in from Joey Anthony. It says, the staged elder abuse last night was a good change up from having to put on a jersey with another man's name on the back of it. I thought the whole production was really weird. Like the way that they ran the whole thing was funky. Like Rosie Perez, what in the fuck was she doing there? Rosie, I forgot about Rosie Perez. I forgot she existed. And then it's like, oh, she's going to be a commentator for some reason. Okay. Roy Jones makes sense. He used to do commentary on HBO. He is a former boxer. He fought Mike Tyson. Roy Jones, it made perfect sense. But Roy Jones the whole time was like, I don't like the way what Tyson be doing. I don't like Mike Legs right now. Mike Legs, I don't like the way Mike Legs be looking. So his commentary sucked. And he was the one who is like who should know the most, right? And should be the best. And his commentary blew. And then they talked over each other a few times. Like they seemed like they were fumbling the script at times. It just felt really weird. And then like at one point there was like some scripted joke where like I think Roy Jones said, "Oh, Mike looked like his breath getting taken away by those punches." And then Rosie Perez was like, it was so lame. Like, that wasn't funny. His breath be getting taken away by punches isn't funny. But Rosie Perez laughed like it was the funny shit that she heard all night. Just weird. And then the interview that Mike Tyson cuts, right? Oh, let's actually, before we get to Mike Tyson's bare ass, let me show you what even before that was foreshadowing to what we were going to see happen. We saw this happen before we saw the Mike Tyson fight. We saw this happen at the beginning of the night.
What are these guys doing? Is this boxing? What are these guys doing? Is this boxing?
So this dude literally humps his opponent in the corner. And this was the first fight. This was the first preliminary fight. So when I saw this, I'm like, this looks like foreshadowing for what's going to be a really terrible and weird event. Now, I will give them credit because there were 2 bouts on the card where they beat the shit out of each other. But this was what started the night right there. Right? So anyone who missed the preliminary bouts or didn't see it, yeah, homeboy humped the other dude in the corner. Thank you, Joey Anthony, for the super chat. I think I have another super chat that came in. Before I get carried away, let me pull that one up. Elton Berry says, the announcers and commentary was nauseating as well. Jerry Jones, really? Well, it was in his building, so he had to be part of the broadcast. So when it started like this and I saw this humping in the corner, I was like, okay, I guess this is like some sort of like weird mocking of the audience. Like this is symbolism for like them bending over the audience and sticking it to us. Like we're the audience and that's what's happening to us tonight. Right? Oh, if you bet on Tyson, here's what's going to happen to you tonight. You're going to get boned in the booty. Just like this. So I feel like it was foreshadowing symbolism in a way. I don't feel like, this was one fighter trying to make the other look bad. This is definitely part of the show. So, part of their contract is like, oh, yeah, you have to stand there and smile while a guy humps you in front of tens of millions of people. I don't know how many people watched that last night, but I know it was a lot. And so imagine being the dude who's getting humped, right? He's standing there smiling while this is happening, while he's getting humped. Part of his contract. So this is what started the night. And then later on, we got Mike's interview where they showed his bare ass. And so, of course, that is all the rage. Well, he had like a thong. So Mike Tyson was wearing a thong, and they panned away at the last second of an interview and showed it. So let me show you what the internet goes wild after Netflix accidentally shows Mike Tyson's bare butt. Accidentally, you guys. Netflix gave viewers a shot of Mike Tyson's bare butt in pre-fight interview. To be fair, there was a thong, so you didn't see like his full-on crack and balls hanging. So it wasn't that bare, but it definitely was there, and it kind of looked, like you would expect Mike Tyson's old butt to look, like this, basically. So Mike Tyson does an interview. I would play it, but I don't want to get my stream copyright claimed or like violate Netflix terms of use or whatever by showing their shit. So basically, Mike Tyson did an interview with his son. His son was the one conducting the interview. And he put the microphone towards Mike's face and said, what do you predict is going to happen? And Mike was like talking really low, so you could barely hear anything he said. But he said something like along the lines of like a brutal victory, something like that. And just after he said that he was going to win, have a brutal victory, he turned around and started walking away. And the camera pans back and you can see his butt in the thong. And so everybody, across the world watching that in that exact same moment jumped on social media like, did you just see Mike Tyson's ass? So within seconds, people were showing up to my channel like, Jake, did you just see Mike Tyson's ass? Yes, I saw Mike Tyson's ass. So basically, that's part of the script too, to get everyone and their mama texting each other about Mike Tyson's ass, taking to social media. And so this is, part of the water cooler talk today is Mike Tyson's ass. So we get bareback humping in the ring, Mike Tyson's bare ass, and this is a precursor to what people are calling the worst fight ever. Oh, I heard that after the fact, Zach Hubbard picked Tyson to win. I heard that. I don't watch Zach's stuff, so the only stuff I hear about who he picked is when I watch Sports Gematria's channel, who exposes Zach. So I'm subscribed to Sports Gematria's channel, and I eagerly await him showing the video of Zach picking Tyson. Here's the thing. The Gematria guys who are like, oh, 58, Tyson's age, and oh, when you put his name, it equals this, and Jake Paul equals this, and it's 58 days after his birthday, and this many days till his next birthday. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Where's the money? Oh, it's on Tyson? Well, then Jake Paul's going to win. Why are you pulling numbers out of your ass and doing gematria when all you got to look at is the public betting on Tyson? Yes, because Joe Rogan fucking basically baited him into it, and a bunch of former boxers baited him into it. Do you guys see all the baiting that went on to get you to pick Tyson? Joe Rogan with his big bulging eyes. I don't know what Jake Paul's thinking. Mike Tyson is in the best shape of his life. I don't care what anybody says. Mike Tyson still has crazy power, right? Joe Rogan saying that to his millions and millions of Joe Rogan fanboys will make them repeat that and then bet their money. So, of course, if I see videos with millions of views talking about how Mike Tyson is going to end Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is going to kill Jake Paul in the ring. He's going to destroy him. Jake Paul will no longer even be a thing anymore. There was a plethora of those videos, and it seemed like those videos were getting tons and tons and tons of views, as if there was money behind those videos, boosting those videos right to the top, as if they want you to buy into Tyson being a badass at 58 years old, so that maybe you take your money and, bet on him. So to me, it was like, okay, how many videos do I see like saying that Jake Paul is going to easily win a decision? I couldn't really find any videos saying that had 1 million views. Made the decision pretty easy for me. I didn't even have to look at any websites and see what the percentages were. I didn't look at a single fucking public money website. It was all up here. I was like, okay, Mike Tyson at plus odds, and Joe Rogan just licked his taint and pumped him up like he's Mike Tyson from 1986. It was an easy pick, to say the least. So anyone pulling gematria numbers out of their ass, like, 68 days until the Pope's birthday, and Mike Tyson's 68, your grandma's cooch equals 68. So yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah, I don't see people calling out shill-ass Rogan for basically like telling you how badass Mike Tyson is. I see all the fans flipping out for how bad the fight was, but I don't see him going, fuck, dude, I listened to Joe Rogan. I'm an idiot, right? No, they'll go back and listen to Joe. They'll go back and listen to Joe and forget all about the fact that he just led them down the wrong betting hole on purpose. I don't know what Jake Paul's thinking getting into the ring with a guy like Mike Tyson. Have you seen Mike Tyson's training videos? He's in the best shape of his life. Fucking Joe Rogan. All right, so check out these headlines. Right now, everyone's saying it's the worst fight ever. Fans are calling Jake Paul, Mike Tyson's match the worst fight in history. It breaks record as the biggest boxing gate outside of Las Vegas. Hey, well, at least there's that. Worst fight of all time. Weirdest thing ever. Fans call for a boxer to be banned as he bizarrely ... Yeah. See, all the headlines, people are outraged. People want their $7 back. I paid $7 for Netflix and it got all glitchy. I want my $7 back, you sons of bitches. I paid $7 and my stream went out in the second round and it came back around like the end of the third round, beginning of the fourth round. So I missed a bit, and then it was super glitchy. So I had like these really glitchy squares that were moving around that kind of looked like two guys pretending to fight. That's what my stream looked like. So yeah, I missed about a round and a half. So I'm interested to know how many of you guys, had streaming issues and what it looked like on your end, because it went out in round 2, and then I tried to even like refresh the screen, open up different tabs, and I couldn't get anything to work. And then it came back on at the end of round 3, going into round 4, and but it was super pixelated and glitchy, like fucking 144p or something. All that glitters is old, says spot on. Prophetic pick, Jake. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was proper pathetic. I appreciate that. All that glitters is old. Looks like I've missed some super chats while I've been spouting off. Let me go back and find them. I never mean to miss super chats, but it does happen because I'm a rambling man. Lord knows I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best that I can. When it's time for me, I hope you'll understand I was born a rambling man. All right. Filling time while I find this super chat that I missed. Rose sent me a chat, says I missed the super chat, so I'm trying to go back and find it. Oh, Shady Davy D. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, good call. 600 people in the chat. You know, that's pretty good live audience. Hook a brother up with the thumbs up. I got a lot more analysis of this fight, a lot more to talk about. We're just getting started. And just like my prediction was one of a kind on the internet, my analysis of this fight and the things I'm going to say is also one of a kind. And so you're not going to want to go anywhere. It's going to be a wonderful day here streaming. And I'm going to open up the topic and open up the panel later on to where, you know, if you guys want to tell me your takes, we can do that as well. So hit the thumbs up right now if you're having a good time. Thank you, Davey D. I appreciate the super chat. Let me see if I missed any other ones. Davey D, always here for the live streams, always telling people to hit the thumbs up. A good guy. And he has a channel of his own. He's starting to pick up a few subs now. Okay, I'm scrolling back quite a ways, and I'm not seeing any more super chats. So I hopefully have caught up. If I missed any more super chats, let me know. Oh, did I just miss one? All right. If I missed anyone's super chat, let's let me know, and I'll read it. Troy Drini says you missed the first super chat. The first one of the stream? The one that came in before the stream? I thought I went back and got it. Who's it from? God bless Jake. Thanks for exposing all the fakery. Thank you, Sunflower. I appreciate it. You're a sweetheart. If I missed your super chat, put it like in caps and say, Jake, you missed my super chat. Here was my message, and then I'll read it. All right. So what else did I want to show? Oh, so a thing that I had never noticed was that Jake Paul, his face is covered in what looks like roid acne. Did you guys notice that? So in press photos, Jake Paul, you don't see all his face loaded with roid acne. But last night during his interview, pretty nasty looking. So my stream was nice and clear during his interview. And check this out, you guys. Look at this. I don't know how clear it is on your end, but look at this. Look at this. Can you guys see this? Look at that forehead. Look at the cheeks. That's like nothing but blackheads and whiteheads. All right. Looks like I missed. You are salty super chat. Let me go back and try and find it. My bad. So yeah, I was kind of shocked by like how many roids this guy has on his face. Some people say that, you know, this is a female. Anything's possible, I guess. All right, guys, give me a minute while I'm trying to go back and find these super chats. I hate when I miss people's super chats. And seems like no matter what, it always happens. And then I have Rose that text me in case I miss one. And then I went back and I scrolled back a shitload and I thought that I caught back up, but apparently I didn't. So here I go again, scrolling back as far as I can possibly go. Okay, I just went back to Davey D's super chat. So going back before that. God damn. How long ago was it? Jesus Christ. Sorry for those of you who are super religious. I just took the Lord's name in vain. My bad. Ugh. Okay, I'm back to when it was 3:11 in the elder abuse comment. And now I'm losing people while I'm going back and doing this. Okay. Hank the Hillbilly says, "You are my hero." Okay, I did miss that one from Hank the Hillbilly. Thank you, Hank the Hillbilly. I appreciate that. All right, once I get through this, well, then I'm moving on. Okay, it looks like I'm all the way back to the beginning, and I still don't see this guy's super chat that he said that I missed. Yeah, now I'm back to before the stream started. Dreadfully awful. So I don't know how I missed it. Doesn't make sense. Just say whatever the fuck you said in your super chat again, and I'll read it. Okay? All right, we're moving on. Yeah, now I'm going to get a bunch of people who are like, "You missed mine." Oh, you missed mine too. You fuck off. No, I didn't. All right. So yeah, guys, check out this roid face.
The fuck out. He said that you stepped on his toe, and that's.
See? Look at this. Ew. And he said he was going to knock him the fuck out, but he didn't do that. Definitely didn't knock him the fuck out. All right. Tyson had bubble cum stuck under his shoe. Bubble cum. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, there were people saying that they wanted refunds. Like I'll admit I didn't have Netflix, so I paid $7. But I'm not gonna like demand a refund. It's $7. I'll just cancel the membership at the end of the month. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably find some other crap on there to watch. I can catch up on the Cobra Kai shit. I think I watched the first couple seasons of Cobra Kai and then I stopped watching it. So since now I have a Netflix membership, I might as well catch up on Cobra Kai and see what fucking Daniel LaRusso and Johnny have been up to. And this is funny. People were saying like, "Oh, well, if it was real, Tyson would have killed him. If it was real, Jake Paul would have." Guys, that's like saying if it was real, a Stone Cold would beat up The Rock. No, The Rock would beat up Stone Cold. You see what I'm like? If it was real, it ain't real. They're never gonna fight for real. So why talk about what would happen for real if they're never gonna have a real fight? Right? It's a waste of time. It would be like arguing whether Hulk Hogan could actually beat Andre the Giant for real. No, Andre would have ripped him limb from limb if it was real. No, Andre, he would have got tired and he wasn't mobile. So Hulk Hogan would have beat Andre if it was. Why talk about it? It doesn't matter. What happened was what I said was going to happen, and now it's over. So talking about who would win in a shoot when like the whole thing's fake and phony and they won't ever really fight to begin with. Now, if you're going to force me, gun to my head, I would say Jake Paul. In a shoot, he's the younger man. Tyson looked every bit like a 58-year-old dude in there. So in a shoot, I would take a roided up Jake Paul over a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, if I had to. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, the real fights, not real fights, but the fights where they beat each other up. So I'm not going to go as far as to say that that championship fight, the 12-rounder, and then the women's fight. I'm not going to say that those were unscripted, totally legit fights, but I will say that they beat the shit out of each other. Clearly, they put 2 fights on that card, and they told those fighters, "We're going to need you to beat the shit out of each other, and make it really good. That way, the crowd can't be upset that the whole thing was a fraud, and it'll trick the crowd into thinking that the main event is going to be legit." So by having 2 women beat the snot out of each other and have their eyebrows get busted open and hang wide open, it tricks the audience into thinking that they're at a legit fighting event. And so therefore the main event must also be legit. Somebody's ass is probably going to get beat even worse when Tyson and Paul get in there. If those ladies are busting each other's eyebrows open and there's like a lady's gaping eyebrow, like oozing blood, well, then Mike Tyson and Jake Paul is going to be a bloodbath. See, that's how they create the illusion that it's a legitimate sporting event and people are really getting their ass beat. So I think they specifically had 2 fights that they knew were going to go back and forth, and they specifically probably told the fighters to go hardcore and beat each other's ass. And they probably paid them really well to do that. So there's fighters out there that if you said, "Hey, you're going to get to fight in front of the biggest audience you will ever fight for in your life, and you're going to get paid more than you've ever got paid, and we're going to need you to eat some shots for real and deliver some shots, and you guys are going to basically beat the shit out of each other. And here's the outcome, and here's who's going to win. And you guys are going to basically have the fight of the night." So I think it's funny that the women got the fight of the night, basically. So, and I'm not necessarily saying those were real women, but from a sheeple standpoint, the women's fight was the most brutal, badass fight of the night. So I think that was also part of the mocking of the public. You know, like, oh, let's make the ladies fight the most brutal bloodbath part of the night, and then we'll have the main event be a total fucking joke, right? So yeah, those of you who missed the whole thing, they had two women who looked a lot like dudes fight and beat the shit out of each other, and apparently people didn't like the decision. I didn't pay attention to the whole fight. I got to be honest. I was like watching you. I was commenting on YouTube and then jumping back and forth. So I didn't sit there and watch all the preliminary fights like every second. I was kind of jumping back and forth from like my own channel, commenting to you guys, and then checking out, you know, what's happening. And so at the end, they were both clearly, you know, they both beat the shit out of each other. And so the same with the championship fight. Both guys beat each other up pretty damn good. And so I think the reason they put those two fights on there was give the crowd some real shots that way when they go home they can at least say that they saw some good action. And it creates the illusion, like I said, that the whole thing's a legit event. Tuck my ears into the hat. That won't. It's not comfortable to do that. Does that make you feel better? That doesn't make me feel better. That feels weird. I like it to just barely sit on top of my head, but then it eventually goes down and pushes my ears down. But I prefer it to be up like that. And for those of you wondering about the hat, I used to, before I was a YouTuber, I was playing slap bass music at open mics, and then I was in a rock band, and we had funny hats as our gimmick in the band. And then when I was a solo bass player, the funky hat was like part of my gimmick. So it was basically like I was like the white Bootsy Collins, if you will. And so when I started the YouTube channel, every once in a while when I would stream, I'd throw the hat on. So if anyone's new here, the hat's been around for a long, long time, even before I started the YouTube channel. Anyway, okay, so let me get back on track. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. How come so many people are that dumb to begin with that they think that a 58-year-old man was going to be just as good as he was 30 years ago? And see, people's memories, it's like people don't remember what happened 3-4 years ago. It's like I notice most sheeple, even people who've been alive quite a while, you know, they don't quite remember what happened. It was like, guys, 4 years ago, Tyson and Roy Jones had a terrible sparring session. Did people forget? Yeah, people forgot that Roy Jones and Tyson had a terrible sparring session 4 years ago, where they basically stole people's money for a pay-per-view event so that they could have a glorified sparring session that went the distance, and then they called it a draw. Right? So if you just look at what happened 4 years ago, why would you expect Tyson to be so much better? And then if you go back 20 years ago, Tyson quit on his fucking stool against a guy named Kevin McBride. Yeah, who's Kevin McBride? A guy who beat Mike Tyson 20 years ago. But everyone forgot about that. You have to be like a big boxing fan and have a good memory to remember that, like, oh yeah, 20 years ago he was washed up. So why in the flying fuck was everyone so easily duped into thinking that he was going to be 1986 Mike Tyson again? Because Joe Rogan said so? I guess so. Because Joe Rogan said so, and some other, like Lennox Lewis and some other fighters hyped them up. people just were like, Mike Tyson is still as good as he used to be in his prime. He's in the best shape of his life. Joe Rogan said so. Like, how can you be so easily duped into thinking Mike was going to be badass? Mike's going to fucking knock Jake Paul out so hard. He's going to end him. What? He couldn't even knock out Roy Jones. Yeah, people forgot. They forgot. I didn't forget. It was in my mind the whole time. Like, when was the last time Mike Tyson whooped somebody's ass? It's been a long, long, long time. So why would we figure that he's going to do that now all of a sudden? If you haven't whooped anyone's ass in 20 years, why should we expect you to be a badass? But America did. More people expected a fucking guy who hasn't whooped anyone's ass in 20 years, excuse me, longer than 20 years. Yeah, they expected that he was just going to be badass again. Okay. Stupid idiots. Oh, well, my gematria told me so. I'm talking about this one because it just happened and everyone's talking about it. So I'm doing my job and talking about it. You know, it's how I make a living. I talk about stuff that's going on that's fake. Jake, why are you talking about stuff that's fake? Because that's what I do for a living. Literally. I say that shit is fake, and I'm really good at it. Like the best. Guys, at this point, I think people are dumb enough that if Joe Rogan was like, did you hear Joe Montana is coming out of retirement? I saw him work out. Dude, he looks better than he did in his prime. Joe Montana is going to come back. I think he could take Purdy's job and play for the Niners again. I think if Joe Rogan said that, fanboys would repeat that. Did you hear Joe Montana's coming back and that he looks better than ever and he's going to take Purdy's job? You could probably convince as long as Joe Rogan said it. And then you show like a video of Joe Montana like hucking a ball 50 yards. People will be like, holy shit. Joe Montana is looking better than ever. So they could probably convince fanboys that next season Joe Montana's going to come out of retirement and play football again. And he's going to be so good that he might take Purdy's job. And you know what? Fans would believe that, and they would draft him on their fantasy team. And then they could have Montana show up and suck ass and look like a fucking 70-year-old dude or however old he is. And fans would be like, oh, I thought he was going to be good. Right? Isn't that basically what just happened? Wouldn't that be about the same deal? Mike Tyson coming out and fighting at 58. Isn't that about the equivalent of Joe Montana coming back to play football? What if they had Joe Montana come back to play football and Tom Brady also unretired, and then we got Tom Brady versus Joe Montana in the Super Bowl? Why not? Sounds good, doesn't it? Joe Montana's back, and he's better than ever. And Tom Brady unretired. We're getting Montana versus Brady. America would be like, oh, I always dreamed of this. You guys hear? Jordan's coming back to play in the NBA. As long as he's got the magnetic rims, he'll be just as good as Steph Curry or anyone else. You could bring back Michael Jordan and with the magnetic rims, actually make him look like he's good at basketball still. and that he belongs out there. Imagine bringing Jordan back and having him like, score a bunch of points with the magnetic rims. Fanboys lose their mind. It's like I had a super chat come in. Let me go back and try and find it. There. Clown Trades says, was leaning Jake by decision and open YouTube to see if you made a pick, and then boom, your video sealed the fake fight pick for me. Most I've ever won, year of the redneck future, hit on Vance, Trump, and Paul. After I hit that pick so perfectly, I was, wishing that I would have bet big. But being it's, an entertainment fight where, possibly Mike might quit on his stool or something like that. I couldn't bring myself to bet big on just the decision. And so I bet smaller because I was afraid that, if it was like any other decision, besides Jake by decision, like a draw, or, if Paul was to somehow get a TKO stoppage and the ref was to step in early, you know what I mean? Then of course that would be a TKO. So I couldn't bring myself to bet big, but now, of course, I wish I would have bet big. But that's how it goes. After the fact, you always wish that you bet way more than you did. But hey, I'm glad you nailed the pick because of my advice. In fact, let me show everybody my pick, because just in case you missed my video, I want to show you guys the way I broke it down, because there wasn't anyone else on YouTube who broke it down quite like I did beforehand. And so I didn't just get lucky and guess the outcome correctly. I pretty much narrowed it down to the only possible decision that made sense. So let me show you my pick video, just a couple minutes of my pick. You think that they're going to let the fans throw down $1,000 and make $2,100? Do you think that they're going to let fans throw down 10,000 and make 21,000 on Tyson nostalgia, where Joe Rogan has basically convinced you should bet Tyson? Lennox Lewis basically convinces you should bet Tyson. UFC fighters telling you should bet Tyson. Basically, they have all these internet guys basically pointing you towards Tyson, and then you have plus odds on Tyson. That right there alone. All the internet celebrity guys, and sports guys pushing you mostly towards Tyson. And then when you look and see plus 200, like, of course that's where the majority of the money's going, right? So then you got to think like a sports book. Are they going to pay out every Tyson fanboy who watches Rogan to the tune of plus 200? Meaning someone throws down $1,000 on Tyson and the books are going to pay out 2,100. Someone throws 10 G's on Tyson and the books are going to pay out 21,000 to some chump who watches Joe Rogan and took his advice? Yeah, fucking right. So the more I looked at the odds, it became very clear to me which way this was going to go down. But you won't make much money just betting on Paul at minus 250, minus 260. So the way you would make the most money is by betting on the decision. And so it plus 250, if you took my advice and you took the plus 250, Jake Paul by decision, you made the most possible. Okay, now let's look at the prop bets. Mike Tyson by KO, TKO, or DQ. Plus 290. So do you really think that they're going to let you make plus 290 on a first round Tyson KO? No chance. I don't know. Whereas Jake Paul by KO, plus 140. They might pay that out. Jake Paul by decision, plus 250. I'm eyeballing that one. Jake Paul by decision at plus 250. I'm looking at one of these two as the most likely outcome. Jake Paul by knockout, TKO, or DQ. Like, I could see Tyson quitting on his stool again and just giving up. And I could also see it going the distance and it being semi-close and Jake Paul getting the decision. So I like Jake Paul to win. And if I was forced to pick one of these outcomes, I would pick Jake Paul by decision if I was forced. And the reason is because I think live betting, they're going to want to milk the live bets. And so if it ends quickly, they're not going to get as many live bets. And so by having it be close and having it go the distance, I think they could milk the public into betting for Tyson more and 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 more. And then at the very end, Paul wins a decision. And then the fans who bet Tyson are all pissed off. But hey, their money's gone. So I like Paul to win the fight. But if I had to pick a specific outcome, and this is only because I'm forcing myself to pick this, Jake Paul by decision is my pick. And if you're going to bet on this, I saw the super chat just go by. I'm just letting what I said play because I wanted to finish that real quick. But okay, I saw the super chats. This one right here from I Seek Truth. I went over that back in 2020. So I was one of the people showing footage of the hospitals empty across the country. They took the footage down. So they censored my videos and gave me strikes. But those are over on BitChute. But yeah, I showed videos of the hospitals being empty. I don't think there ever was a boogeyman disease. I think it was all a big scamdemic in order to get people to line up and take that God knows what vax. So yeah, if you scroll back, years, you'll see my takes on that. But basically, it was a plandemic. It was a scamdemic. There was no boogeyman disease. I stood and let people cough in my face to prove that you can't just make someone sick with a boogeyman disease. And guess what? They took those videos down. Me letting people cough in my face. They took it down. It went viral because I was on All Gas No Brakes channel where there was like 6 million views. And he made me like I was some crazy madman having people cough in my face. Well, I'm living proof. I never got sick. I'm still here telling the truth. And you know what? Fuck Andrew Callahan and All Gas No Brakes channel. And Andrew Callahan, Channel 5 News. Fuck that stupid bitch and his shill asshole. He Lou Hemps Martin with a donation says, "Love you, asshole." Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, I read that one. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. I'm running back real quick, making sure I catch up on the super chats because somebody said I missed one. Oh, yeah. Dre says, Jake in a shoot Can you beat Jake Paul? I don't know. He looks like he's on roids, and I'm not on roids or any performance enhancing drugs, and I don't train at all. I have a background when I was a kid in amateur boxing and amateur wrestling, so I do know how to fight, and I can always fall back on my boxing skill and my amateur wrestling skill. But I don't actively train, so I don't have any stamina to like go long rounds or anything because I'm a dude who makes content, and I'm 41 years old, and I don't train or anything anymore. So uh beings he's on roids and shit, and works out and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't be able to beat him, if I'm being honest. I would try and use my quickness and my speed and my defense, and I would just try and stay away from the big shots. But like, uh, I just don't know if, man, I would have to get in fighting shape to even consider fighting anyone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I have, I haven't been in a boxing ring since I was a little kid. My last fight, I was in a boxing ring in front of people. I was like 13 years old. So it's been a long, long time since I've been in a ring. Bet responsibly, and no matter what the outcome is, it's going to be scripted and phony. So whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, the outcome is going to be scripted and phony baloney. So my thoughts are we're going to see the Rocky Balboa outcome. The Rocky Balboa movie. You know that one where Rocky comes out of retirement and fights Antonio Tarver and loses a decision at the end? I think that's the script that we get. Tyson loses a decision, but he's smiling at the end, and then both guys are smiling like, we took your money. We don't really hate each other. You won't find another dude on the internet who said Rocky Balboa script and then explained it perfectly. You'll only find that here on the Jake the Asshole channel, the greatest channel that there ever was in the history of everything that's ever been known. Rocky Balboa script. You know, that one after Rocky 5 where Adrian is dead. You know, that terrible, god awful Rocky movie. Here's the deal. I'm a fanboy of the old Rocky movies. And Rocky 1 through 5, when I was a kid, I loved every single one of those movies. The old one, Rocky, I even liked Rocky 5 with Tommy Morrison. And so it was many, many years later that Rocky 6 came out. And they didn't call it Rocky 6, they called it Rocky Balboa. And the movie is centered around Rocky's lonely and old, and Adrian's dead. And he gets this offer to fight Antonio Tarver, who was an actual boxer, and who they used in the movie, and they have Rocky go the distance in an exhibition and then lose a decision, and it was a god awful movie, and they couldn't capture any of the old Rocky magic. It was just pathetic, and so it was by far the worst Rocky movie, and so the fact that like I said that was going to be the script and it was, I don't think I could have nailed it any better. Miguel says, "Did you predict the Tyson ass flash?" No, I did not. That I didn't predict the preliminary fight humping, and I didn't predict Tyson's bare ass. No, there's no way that I could have known that was going to happen. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate that. And Ryler says, speaking of boxing, Don King is Martin Luther King Jr. I've heard that. And you know what? It might be true. When it comes to stuff like that, I can't say for sure. It's kind of right up there with Jimi Hendrix being Morgan Freeman. It sounds funny. And they have similarity between their looks and even a little bit in the personality, but I can't say for sure. So yeah, I put that in the same category as Jimi Hendrix being Morgan Freeman, which is a funny thought because if Jimi Hendrix did become Morgan Freeman, then I wonder if Morgan Freeman, like tucked away in a closet, has an old Fender Stratocaster that he sometimes whips out when no one's looking and goes, wow, bow, bow, wow, wow, whack it out, wow, 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 standing next to a mountain and I drop it down with the edge of my hand. Like, wouldn't that be funny if Morgan Freeman, behind closed doors, when absolutely nobody's around, he like whips out the old Fender Strat and fucking, that'd be cool. I wonder if when you switch from being Jimi Hendrix to being Morgan Freeman, if there's a rule that like you're not allowed to touch a guitar. Don't even look at a guitar. If anyone tries to hand you a guitar, just act like you have no idea how it works. Is there any video footage of Morgan Freeman playing a guitar? All right. Paul Halo Cat. I used to accidentally call him Hollow Quat. Paul Hollow Quat says, Jake, spot on with Rocky Tyson prediction. Can you do more Roy Jones impersonation, please? I don't like the way Mike feet be looking. I don't like Mike legs. I don't like the way Mike legs be looking. When I was in there with Mike, he didn't look like that. But right now, I don't know about the way Mike leg be looking. Something like that, right? Look like Mike be getting his breath taken away by all these punches. Mike be losing his breath. Then after the fight, Tyson's like, I honestly, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I would be better. I thought I would try to put it at. I thought that I taught put it at. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, honestly. Yeah, I do a pretty good black man's voice. And I can do different types of black guys' voices. I bet Suge knows who could do a good black guy's voice. Maybe it's the same nobody who done shot Tupac. Maybe it's the same nobody who shot MLK. Nobody be shooting nobody, and don't nobody know nothing about nobody being shot by nobody. Let me tell you what, boo-boo. P. Diddy tried to get me to do some dirty doo-doo at his parties with some baby oil, and I was like, hell no. And I got my black ass right up the fuck out of there, if you know what I'm saying, boo-boo. Like, sure you did, kitty cat. I believe your story. Yeah. P. Diddy was trying to get me to go to his parties, but I was like, hell nah. And he was like, what? And I was like, nah. Man, I got blackballed by Oprah. Man, they wasn't going to let me go on The View. I was trying to work with the NBA, but they wasn't trying to fuck with me. So I wasn't trying to fuck with them. I was like, fuck you. And they was like, what? And I was like, hell yeah. And they was like, nah. And I was like, yeah. I got blackballed by Oprah. You got blackballed by Oprah? I can't believe that bitch. Can you guys believe Oprah blackballed Ice Cube? It's because he's a free thinker and tells too much truth. That's why he wasn't allowed on The View. I can see why he's so pissed. Go look that up. That's a real thing. I'm not even exaggerating. Ice Cube was all angry that he got blackballed by Oprah and he got blackballed by The View. And he said his reasoning is because he's a free thinker. And they don't like guys like him. Great one says, Jake, thanks for your continued assault on scripted sports leagues, fake moon landings, space dinosaurs. Have you played your most recent The NFL is rigged, or is the NFL rigged short many times? Keep it up, bro. Have played your most recent is the NFL rigged short many times. Keep it. Oh, you have. I see what you're saying. Thank you for watching the short a bunch of times. I try and do all the different forms of content. You know, I try and keep up on the regular videos, you know, like the top 10. And then my streams, you know, I like to do 3-hour streams where I talk about whatever's going on in the fake news. And then the shorts, I like to pump out, you know, a few of those each week, 3-4 of them each week, so that, you know, I check all the boxes and give you all the content you could want in one way or another. I'm just getting over a cold too. So if you hear me coughing, or if you hear me start to laugh, and I have the laugh of a crack whore, it's because I'm getting over a cold. Should be good in the next few days. But I still have that thing where when I laugh, it's like, you know, the crack whore's laugh. No, I don't have the boogeyman disease. There ain't no such thing. Most black guys who take the time to hear me out appreciate the comedy that I bring, and they don't get upset. But like if you're a sheeple NFL fanboy and you were to just show up, you know, for 10, 20 seconds and catch me, you know, doing an impression of Ice Cube right there, you might think that like I'm some racist piece of shit for doing that. You know, it's funny how that works. It's like if you do too good of an impression of a black guy, uh, then sometimes that can make you out like you're a racist person because you did such a great impression of a black guy. No, I'm just good at doing impressions. So there were some people that were saying like, "Oh, Mike Tyson is a woman, and Jake Paul is a woman," and it's like, well, where do you stop? You know, it's like, is every person who's ever been on television inverted? And then some people are like, yes. So I'm like, okay, so let's test this theory out. Is George Carlin a woman? Watch, some of you are going to be like, yes, of course. Everyone in Hollywood is inverted, Jake. Don't you know that? Go ahead. Tell me how George Carlin is a lady. You know, because he looks so much like a lady, right? And he acts so much like a lady. So we're going to believe that George Carlin's a lady and that a lady is the most legendary comic of all time outside of myself? We're going to pretend a lady came up with all that stuff? Guys, women aren't funny. Did we forget that? So you can't point at somebody like George Carlin, for instance, and be like, that's a lady because he worked in Hollywood. He did movies in Hollywood. So therefore he's a lady. You can't do that because that would be like saying ladies are funny. Ladies aren't funny. There's no woman on the fucking top 10 best comic lists of all time. So what are you going to say? All those were ladies? Fuck off. See how I just defeated everyone's a lady logic? So I'm sick of this shit where people are like, Mike Tyson's a lady, and Jake Paul is a lady, and Shaquille O'Neal is a lady, and everyone that you've ever seen on TV is a lady. Okay, so also George Carlin? Yes! So you're saying a lady is the most legendary comic of all time? Fuck right off. Women aren't funny. There's no such thing as a legendary lady comedian. All the lady comedians suck balls. All of them. Every last goddamn one of them. So why in the fuck are we going to act like everyone on TV is a lady? Is Jim Carrey a lady? Yes, Jake, Jim Carrey's a lady. So you're going to tell me Jim Carrey, who has the best physical comedy possibly of anyone ever outside of myself, you're going to say he's a lady too? That a lady is the most funny physical comedian? Get the fuck out of my goddamn universe with that. But you know what people say? Jake sticks up for all the trans because he doesn't think every guy is a lady. So if you're one of those people who thinks every guy is a lady, you're a fucking idiot. If you think George Carlin or Jim Carrey was a lady, then that means you think ladies are the funniest people in the world. And that's just factually incorrect. Therefore, they're men. And I hate to have to do this, but guys, quit showing up to my comment section to tell me how every guy is a lady. I'm getting sick of it. No, they're not. Yes. WNBA players? WWE women wrestlers? Sure. I've pointed at those and told you, yeah. I always tell you if I think someone looks more like a dude than a lady, or more like a lady than a dude. I tell you. But when it comes to dudes who are dudes and look like dudes and have always been dudes, I'm not going to tell you that it's a lady. Because that's stupid. Oh, but Jake, don't you know? Everyone in Hollywood is inverted. So you're saying that a lady is the funniest person ever? He look like a man. I remember that. Mrs. Swan, he look like a man. The best guitarists are women. Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Santana. Yeah, well, Buck Dharma is my favorite guitar player, and he's not a fucking lady. Nobody in my favorite band is a lady. None of them ever dressed like ladies. None of them ever looked like ladies. Everyone in Blue Oyster Cult is a dude. Maybe Rudy Sarzo might be a lady, and he was once in Blue Oyster Cult, but that's the only exception. I don't let anyone troll me easily. First off, I have control of the ban button. So if anyone pisses me off, I just go boop and then they disappear forever. And you know, I've been on here since 2016. and I started this channel talking about the Earth being flat. So I've been trolled uh, by millions of people. So kind of used to it. I still get irritated by it, but I'm used to it. Look, here's one of those guys that doesn't know the difference between your and your. You are is the one with the apostrophe. So when you want to say you are, you use the one with the apostrophe. Your literally means you are. When you say your, that's ownership of something. Like your toothbrush, your butt cheeks, right? Something you show ownership of. Your, you are. Learn the difference, dipshit. And you guys who can't fucking figure out the difference between lose and loose, those are two different words. Here, look, let's just fix this problem right here, because I notice a bunch of you guys who follow football say loose when you mean lose. Let me show you the difference between the two. Watch. I'm gonna teach a lot of NFL fanboys a fucking huge lesson right now. Those are two different words. I know when you were in school, you were taught that the oo sound is a double O. So you show up to my channel and you tell me who's going to loose. I think the Bills are going to loose. I think that the 49ers are going to loose. Guys, loose is the opposite of tight, and it has two O's. Lose is the opposite of win, and it has one O. This is something you should have figured out back in like first goddamn grade. But grown men tell me who's going to loose with two O's every day. After they say, you're a fucking idiot, Y-O-U-R. I hope I taught somebody something here. Now I'm just being a grammar Nazi, huh? Now I'm just being a total grammar Nazi dick. It's part of the show. It's part of my comedy act. Part of my comedy act is to be a grammar Nazi prick and treat my audience like shit. It's part of the show. It's a comedy act. Yes. There you go. You can use both of them in a sentence. I will lose my loose girlfriend soon. Yes. If you have a loose girlfriend, you are always in danger of losing her because she's loose. So we're going to act like a guy who talked like this for his whole career. And what's the matter with these fucking people on the airplanes? They're fucking stupid and they deserve to die. Yeah, a guy who sounds like that. We're going to pretend that was a lady. You know something? I don't wash my hands after I use the restroom. Are you okay with that? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I usually wash my hands if I shit on them. And if I don't, well, then I don't wash them. So that's one of George's old jokes. So I love some of George's old material, even though he was a quasi world stage actor club member. But he didn't ever use his platform to do something super evil, like tell people to go jib jab themselves. So I respect George's content in his comedy routines and all his comedy specials, because he did tell a lot of truth, and he didn't use his celebrity fame to lead people down a a bunch of terrible rabbit holes to nowhere. He did tell a lot of truth, and so I like to give him credit for being one of the better comedians on the world stage. Irlanda 516 says, one thing I'm trying to understand is if these people can print money, type in their own amount in their bank accounts, why do they care so much about taking our betting money? Well, you can't pay all the employees from top to bottom with just the fake money. So you gotta pay, people with some money that's real. You can't just print make up every single dollar. There's a fair share of dollars being printed out of nowhere, created out of nowhere. But as far as keeping a casino going, an entire casino, and all the employees that run a casino, hundreds of employees, you're gonna pay all of them with fake fake money. And so there would be no reason to have people come to Vegas, no reason to have people spend money, no reason to have people. Anyway, I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but they just do. To answer your question, they don't want us to be happy. They don't want us to have money. They don't want us to use our money to improve our lives. So part of the way they keep us down is by taking our money. Like, they can't just fill their own bank accounts with fake money and prop themselves up that way. They have to beat us down in the process, harvest our energy, take our money away, keep us unhappy in the process. Miguel says, can you play La Bamba on your bass guitar? No, I cannot, because I never learned La Bamba. I can sing La Bamba, but it basically is me singing the chorus correctly, but then the rest of it, I just sing gibberish. So I can sing the gibberish version of La Bamba, but I cannot play it on my bass guitar because I never learned it. And I'm not the type of guy who can just figure it out on the spot and play it. But since you are donating, I'll go ahead and sing you the chorus and a set of gibberish lyrics. La la bamba la bamba, la 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 bamba, chupa me berca, pira pira para pora. La la bamba, la 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 tila, the picture tequila, the pira pira para pira poo. There you go. That's how much of the song I know. Chris Lee Aries says, did you see any commercials of farmers saying they used to vote Trump and voted Kamala? There was. No, I didn't see any farmers saying that they voted Kamala. No, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I am seeing a lot of is oh, the libs are losing it after Kamala loses the election. Oh, let's watch the lefty liberals lose it. That's like everyone's favorite content if you're a Trump taint licker. So every person who voted for Trump apparently wants to go online and watch the lefties lose it. And then there's that Sky News Australia bitch who all her content is the lefties are losing it. Let's watch a video of the lefties losing it right now. And then she gets 8 million views every time she does that. It's fucking stupid. Everyone's like, The lefties are so angry that they lost because Trump won. Yeah, I want to go watch videos of all the lefties losing it because Trump won. Woo! I'm such a magatard. I spend my whole day watching lefties losing it. Yeah, that's what magatards do. They spend their days watching videos of lefties losing it. And they're like, these lefties, they lost. We won. Have you guys seen what I'm talking about? The Sky News Australia bitch. Some like Indian lady who speaks with an Australian accent. And every video is, the lefties are losing it. You guys want to see some lefties losing it now? I'm going to show you a video of the lefties losing their lefty liberal minds. It's so funny. And then there was like a guy who's like a huge Trump fan who pretended to be a liberal losing his mind. And the Sky News Australia chick put that guy in the video and said, here's a lefty liberal. And it's like, no, dude, it was a Trump voter pretending to be a lefty liberal. And you still put that in your video, you idiot. I'm Riggs says, how does the Middle Eastern gas station song go again? Oh, okay. All right, we got a request for a old joke that I told a while ago. Let me remember how it goes. Oh, yes. So, have you guys ever walked into your local mini mart and the Middle Eastern guy behind the counter is listening to some of his country's Middle Eastern music? Homeboy's listening to his ethnic music. And of course, all Middle Eastern music kind of sounds a little something like, and so when I walk in and homeboy behind the counter, he's like rocking out to his like Middle Eastern music. It's like, I'm like, awesome song, dude. I love your country's music. It's so beautiful. Right? So it's like a Middle Eastern dude is like, he loves the sound of other Middle Eastern dudes going, oh yeah, oh yeah, as much as I love the sound of a sick slap bass line. So like I'll watch like a guitar player, Eddie Van Halen do a sick guitar lick, or a bass player play a sick slap lick, like Charles Berthoud will play some sick bass lick, and I'm like, whoa, that's super funky. Whereas like a Middle Eastern dude, he doesn't care about bass licks or guitar licks. He cares about other Middle Eastern dudes making this noise. Oh, yeah, oh, and so that's a Middle Eastern dude's favorite part of the jam, is when another Middle Eastern dude makes that noise. So like when I hear a Buck Dharma guitar solo during Don't Fear the Reaper, that's my favorite part. But like a Middle Eastern dude, his favorite part of a song is when another dude goes, isn't that cool? The way each person has their own tastes. It's like if I see a guitar player go, I'm like, whoa. Whereas a Middle Eastern dude, he doesn't give a fuck about that. He cares about another Middle Eastern dude going, and he's like, whoa, that blows my mind when that guy makes that noise. Right? I think that's how I tell that joke. Oh. If Jonna laughs, I know I told it correctly. Hi, Jonna. Thanks again for the super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the chats coming in tonight. We had a pretty damn good crowd tonight. So thanks again. I'm Rigged. Hindu Cheech and Chong. Hindu Cheech and Chong. Like I would have to do Cheech and Chong characters, but like in an Indian guy's voice. Is that what you're thinking? I don't know if I could pull that off or not. Hey man, what are we smoking? It's dog shit, man. You're telling me that we're smoking dog shit right now? Yeah, man. My dog ate my stash, man, and I had to follow him around with a little baggie for a week. It really blew the dog's fucking mind. I wonder what Great Dane tastes like. There you go. I was wondering if I could pull that off. So the deal with Cheech and Chong is their first movie, Up in Smoke, is a classic. Everything after that is all downhill and not nearly as funny. All their other movies were nowhere near as good. Up in Smoke is still a classic, and the opening scene of that movie is still entertaining. So, Up in Smoke is a quality film that if you get good and high, you can still laugh and enjoy that movie. Everything after that they did, not worth watching. I made the mistake of going to watch Cheech and Chong perform live about 6-7 years ago. And let me tell you, it was bad. So going to watch Cheech and Chong perform live, they try and redo their opening skit from the movie, but it just feels really weird to watch two dudes who are as old as they are try and redo their the opening scene of their own movie. And then they did some weird skits that were just not very funny. And Chong's wife opens the show, and she does this terrible comedy set. And so I found people were uncomfortably laughing around me. So people were like, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, like people were like forcing themselves to try and laugh at stuff that wasn't funny. And at one point, I actually decided I'd had enough, and I fucking got up and walked out before it was over. I made it through about, I don't know, 50 minutes of their act or so, and I got up and left. I was very disappointed because I was all pumped up. And that was when I found out if you want the Cheech and Chong experience, get good and high and watch that first movie. And that's it. That's it. Don't go pay your money to see them live. Don't watch any of the other movies. Just watch that first one and make sure you're good and high. You might want to even eat some mushrooms. Can I do a Southern accent? Well, I kind of do this like Trumper Southern accent, like, well, better than voting for Kamala. All you dumbasses who didn't vote for Trump, you get exactly what you deserve. Y'all voted for Kamala. Y'all commies out there in California getting exactly what you deserve. Those of us who live out here in Alabama, we know better to vote for no motherfucking Kamala. I'm rigged, says Laura Trump is a big old man, says Mag. Let me tell you something, people. You need to wake your ass up right now. Vern Troyer, he's an animatronic robot. Vern Troyer from the Austin Power movies. That's not a real man. You think that that's a real man? You need to wake your ass up right now. Vern Troyer is an animatronic robot. There's no such thing as a man who's that small. Wake your ass up right now. Hit you with the bam. I'm gone. Let me tell you something, people. Mike Tyson, he's not a man. He's a big woman. Mike Tyson been a woman all time. Let me tell you something, people. The mag is a woman too. That's right, people. I got a big fucking vagina right now. And I'm going to put a big dildo inside my vagina right now and hit you with a bam, because I'm gone. Uh-oh. I think I might have just ruined my own monetization for this video by saying that. I'm Riggs says, God bless you. Thanks, bro. Hey, thanks for the donations. I appreciate you hanging out here, and appreciate the takes. Appreciate the super chats. Q and F's still here. Ray Love says, start the stream over. Why would I do that? Yeah, I talked about the Tyson fight for like the first, I don't know, hour. And then for the last 40 minutes, we've just been kind of talking about different things, jumping from one thing to the next. Great One says, I'm going to bet my life savings on George Kittle, my friend. He is a very good tight end, my friend. I am going to bet on FanDuel, my friend. I am going to bet my life savings on George Kittle because of his beautiful, manly tight end. And you know that the NFL has a thing for white tight ends. Let me tell you, my friend. That is why you see them running around the wide open all of the time. I am going to go on the FanDuel right now, my friend, and I am going to bet all of my Minimart life savings. And on and on and on she kept on. This bitch been around before my mother was born. I said, you're up, and then I gave her a hit. I said, you cannot have me. I am too young for you, bitch. She says, no, you're not. And then she starts crying. I says, I am 19. And she says, stop lying. I says, I am. Go ask my mother. In which your wrinkled pussy, I cannot be your lover, my friend. Okay. There's a little Snoop Dogg Indian rap for you. Yep, a little Indian rap. Yeah, they used to have black tight ends, and then you had guys like Antonio Gates and uh several others. But yeah, nowadays it's mostly big white dudes who are getting left wide open. Yeah, Shannon Sharp. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Now you just reminded me. I used to be a Dolphins fan. Yeah, Troy Drayton. Can't believe I just pulled that out of my head. Troy Drayton. Oh yeah, Kellen Winslow. Yeah. Ryler05 says they always have to have good amount of white athletes to keep that white money train coming in. Of course, and then they draft the quarterbacks to teams depending on like the the diversity of that particular city. So, for instance, like Baltimore has like a nasty hood where there's a ton of black people, and so they have a black quarterback, right? So it's and then you look at the you know uh, San Francisco, right? That has like a, a white a big white population, and it's more known as like a like the gay city. So they have a white boy named Purdy, right? Who has a baby face. So it kind of makes sense that like certain markets they put certain quarterbacks there. Makes sense. Like Chicago is considered more of a rough city, and there's a nasty black ghetto, so it makes sense that like uh, a city like that might rally behind a black quarterback. So Caleb Williams, you know. The whole story of Mike Tyson is manufactured. So Mike Tyson is a manufactured superstar the same way Michael Jordan was a manufactured superstar. So, and if you become like the face of a sport and you transcend that sport and you sell like shitloads of merch and you basically make hundreds of millions of dollars, um, it ain't legit. There's no way that happened. There's no such thing as a legitimate rags to riches story as far as like uh, becoming the face of an entire sport. The way that like guys like Tyson or Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Whenever you're talking about like a guy who's like the number one person people think of in that sport, it's going to be a manufactured career. They were made to be that person. They were propped up to be that person. They were born to play that role. Ryler05 says Boston Celtics, the white basketball team, being a white city. Yeah, so Larry Bird is their main legend. So yeah, guess that kind of makes it. But they also have had some black dudes on the team, you know, that were legends as well. So I think if I tried to show the fight, it would probably get copyright claimed, maybe even taken down. I'm guessing that there's some terms of service by Netflix that they're not going to allow people to just show the whole thing. But it's on Netflix and it's probably been reposted. But I don't want to take the chance of having my stream come down or Netflix, copyright claim my entire stream. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and not do it. Yes, we went over Tyson's ass probably, I don't know, 45 minutes in or so. So the first hour of this stream is all the Tyson fight stuff. We went over the pre-fight where the one dude humped the other dude in the corner. We went over Tyson's butt. We went over how the Netflix stream had quality issues and how the stream went out. We went over my prediction, how it was basically perfect. We went over how Joe Rogan and a bunch of former boxers all basically were pointing you towards Mike Tyson as if they were paid to tell you that Mike Tyson was going to be great and beat up Jake Paul. So yeah, the first hour we went over all that, and then this last like 50 minutes or so, we've just been jumping around from different topics and stuff. Orlando with a donation says, I too was a Dolphins fan in the 90s. The part that woke me up was that when Stojanovic shanked that kick in the playoffs against the Bills. Yeah, see, as a fan, I never got to see the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl. I never got to see them win a Super Bowl. So I was born in 83. And then, I wasn't able to sit through a full game and understand it until I was about like 10 years old. And so from like 10 years old until I was like, I don't know, 30, that's my like 20 years of being a diehard fan. The Dolphins made the playoffs a few times, but they never made it to a Super Bowl. And basically, the majority of my fandom was watching Tom Brady win the division every fucking year. And then the one year he got hurt, the Dolphins won the division with the Wildcat. But then they got destroyed against the Ravens in the wild card round. So basically, the years that the Dolphins did go to the playoffs, they would get destroyed in the first round or the second round. So I never even got to see them make it to the AFC title game. And so all the Super Bowl success in the 70s, that was before I was born. So I can't say that like I had any, of that joy of watching the Dolphins that the fans before me had, you know? And so when I started watching, it was, in Marino's final years, and he just kept declining and getting worse and worse until he got his ass beat by the Jaguars 63-7. And that was the last of Marino. And then I watched like, I don't know, 15 different quarterbacks suck ass trying to replace Marino. Thank you, Irlanda. So you were sitting there like I was, watching the Dolphins lose most of those weeks. Yeah, bro. Like I said, I know they were in Super Bowls, when I was like 2 years old and shit like that, but they lost that one and I was 2. So I was born in 83. You can't understand a football game and sit through a 3-hour football game until you're about 9 or 10 years old. Because when you're 5 or 6, you can't fucking understand what's going on. You can't sit there for 3 hours. So when people act like that they were fans of football when they were 4 and 5 and 6, it's like you did not sit for 3 hours and watch that full game and totally understand. It's not till about 10 years old that you can fully grasp what's happening and actually make it through a 3-hour game and know all the rules and shit. So when I was 10 years old, it was 1993. So the first Super Bowl that I remember sitting through and understanding what's going on is Cowboys Bills. I can't even remember the Bills losing to the Giants or the Redskins. So the first one that I remember, first Super Bowl I can remember sitting through from start to finish was Cowboys Bills, and then the next in both years the Cowboys whipped the Bills' ass. So that's like that's where my memory snaps into place as a fan. Who's your daddy? Says try being an 82-year-old Lions fan. Well, we got the one Lions fan who was here earlier, the Detroit Lions devastate baby in all caps guy, Flinner. He was here earlier. 49ers never played the Bills in the Super Bowl, bro. Chris Berman picked them to play each other 4 years in a row, and he was wrong 4 years in a row. Yeah, 49ers and Bills never played each other. The Bills played the Cowboys twice, and they played the Giants and the Redskins. And the 49ers beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl. That was the one that was in 94, 95 season. And Steve Young got his one ring. Quick on Kicks says it's a disgrace to boxing, that sausage fest. Well, I would argue that boxing hasn't been good in a long time. So McGregor versus Mayweather was a disgrace. It wasn't much better than the than the Tyson Paul fight. So Mayweather and McGregor, that was a scripted match where they had McGregor come out winning, and then a quick stoppage, and all he had to do was eat like 4 semi-stiff punches, and then the ref stepped in and it was over. And so I would argue that a lot of the Mayweather fights were what made boxing start to really go downhill. So I would say that boxing hasn't been like looked at as the top sport in a long, long time. So when I was a kid, Mike Tyson versus Holyfield and Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis, that was still considered like a big, big deal. And UFC wasn't shit back then. So boxing was still considered like one of the number one sports not that long ago. Well, I guess it has been that long. But when I was a kid, boxing was still looked at, like it was a huge deal. And the heavyweight champion of the world was looked at like the toughest, most badass dude. Whereas now, who's the boxing heavyweight champion of the world? They have like 3, 4 different champions, and I couldn't even tell you any of them who they are anymore. So I would argue boxing hasn't been what it was in a long time. Yeah, sports betting is one of the key ingredients to ruining it, for sure. Well, it was said that the first UFC was set up to where Gracie was given easy opponents and was given a easy path to win. So you could say that the UFC fights like that they set it up for Gracie to win. And even though the fights might not have been fully scripted, the opponents were picked to where it was like basically almost guaranteed that Gracie was just going to take him down and submit him. And none of those guys had a clue on how to stop Gracie from doing a submission because it was before anyone knew how to fight correctly. So if you look at UFC 1, it was basically set up for Gracie to win. Mr. Anderson says, just a curiosity, did you know the guy getting humped is actually an influencer with a huge channel just like Paul? He's Winder Sanunas. Yeah, I never heard of him, but they said that last night. So I found that out while watching that preliminary match that he was somebody. And so I'm guessing since he had a big audience that people bet on him, and that's probably why he lost, is because he had a big audience, which caused his audience to put money on him. Imagine losing money on that preliminary fight. where the dude gets humped in the corner. Jason G asking if I can do Hulk convincing us the fight was real.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. If you think Iron Mike Tyson is going to get in there and script the fight, well, then you must have not have taken your vitamins, brother. Mike Tyson is one of the most feared boxers of all time. And Mike Tyson is only afraid of one man. And that, of course, is yours truly, brother. Mike Tyson has always been a big fan of Hulkamania. Hulkamania has always been a big fan of Mike Tyson. And let me tell you something, brother. The Hulkster would never endorse or cheer for anyone that does anything according to a script. So what you gonna do when Mike Tyson and his old 58-year-old pythons run wild on you? Let me tell you something. If you think that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson were pretending to fight, well, then maybe you should step into the ring with yours truly. Or maybe you should step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked Randy. Crazy old ass Ric Flair's still around. Randy's been gone for a long time. Just orange juice. I was thinking maybe vitamin C would help me get over my cold a little quicker. So just some regular orange juice. And no, it's not a screwdriver. There's no alcohol in it. If there was alcohol in there, you would notice me getting slower and sloshier. But of course, I'm totally sober. In fact, I haven't smoked in a couple hours, so I'm almost feeling too sober. If you know what I mean, Vern. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon and go smoke. Oh, check this out, guys. I picked up this used bass right here. It's a Sterling Stingray. I picked this up used for $225, and it's a sweet bass. I heard online that if you get one of these budget-friendly Sterling Stingrays, and then you replace the pickup, and then you replace the preamp with top-of-the-line stuff, that you can get a 70s Stingray tone. And a 70s Stingray bass, a pre-Ernie Ball 70s Stingray bass, is $5,000 to $10,000, depending how good of condition it is. So if I can take this one and make it sound as good as a 70s Stingray for way less money, that's what I'm looking to do. So So for $225, this is a pretty sweet bass. And so I already ordered the pickup and I ordered the preamp. And so I have the pickup here. I'm waiting on the preamp. And then when I switch them out, that's when I'm gonna see like how good it really sounds. But it sounds pretty good for a budget-friendly bass. In fact, I might even play for a minute just to show you guys. The stock electronics, they're okay, but I bought a top-of-the-line pickup that I'm going to put in here. This right here. This Aguiar. So this is $150 for this one pickup. And I'm going to swap this Aguiar pickup out for this cheap pickup. And supposedly that's supposed to make a big difference. And then I'm going to switch out this preamp for a better preamp. And supposedly I should end up with the 70s Stingray tone for way cheaper than buying a 70s Stingray. All right. I'll play for a minute just to show you guys what it sounds like without any effects or anything. Just raw bass. see, the pickup's a little too hot, and it's a cheap pickup. And so basically, when I put that better pickup in here, it's supposed to make everything sound way better. So I'm looking forward to getting that other pickup in here and then seeing how much better it sounds. I'll mess with these knobs a bit. Anyway, so once I upgrade that and put the new electronics in it, it'll sound even better. So looking forward to doing that. Kelly Yamaguchi says Jake is preparing a new Seinfeld theme song. It's funny whenever I do my slap bass stuff, Seinfeld theme comes up, but that's not a bass line. So apparently that's done with like an organ. It's like a piano thing, but like people associate it with bass for some reason. I don't know why. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and let you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And I know there's a big UFC fight tonight. I'm not going to pick. I don't feel nearly as confident picking the UFC fights tonight. So if you guys are going to make picks on that and bet on that, good luck to you. Bet responsibly. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you to everyone who hung out here and chat and donated and all that great stuff. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll catch you guys in the next video or the next stream or whenever I catch you. And thanks again to everybody for joining me today. I had fun. Hope you did too. So we'll see you next time. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.